In this video, we will learn about Ajax. Before explaining what Ajax is, let's look at an example that can give us a first-hand experience of why it is used. If you click on the link of the pinned comment, you will see a Notion page like this. At the top, there are two links like this. First, let's visit the page of the first link, which was made before Ajax came into play. You can see a web page like this. I will click on these buttons on the top right tab. As you can see, every time you click a button, the page blinks and reloads. If you open the Network tab in the Developer Tools and take a look, you can see that every time you click a button, all elements of the web page are fetched anew. Now, let's try clicking on a different topic button while the video is playing. Since a new page opens every time you press the button, you can't continue to watch the video. You have to replay the video every time. Those of you who have been using the internet for a long time may find this familiar. Now let's enter the second link, the page where Ajax is applied. If you click on the buttons here, you can see that the color of the buttons and the content below them change smoothly without any blink or stutter. What if we click the buttons while the video is playing? Now you can move freely between the tabs while the video continues to play. If you open the Developer Tools again and look at the Network tab, every time you press the button, only this source named apis.json is accessed. Nowadays, it's a given user experience, but we've started to enjoy such convenience since Ajax made its appearance. Previously, all user actions on web pages were carried out through reconnection. To access a site like this SNS, you enter the URL in the address bar of the browser. Then, the browser sends a request to the server with that URL. The server responds by sending resources necessary to build the web page, including HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, and images. The browser reads these and shows you a page like this. If you click the like button on a post, the browser sends the corresponding request to the server, and the server sends back every resource for the web page with that change reflected. Just as if you were closing a document you are writing in a word processor and opening a new one, the browser has to close the open page and open a new one with the received resources. So the only thing changing is this like button. But to reflect this change, everything has to be overhauled. This not only causes an inconvenient user experience where the screen flashes with every action of user, every time all the resources need to be fetched anew, which also causes a great waste in network traffic. With Ajax, you can avoid such inconvenience and waste. Now when a user clicks a like button, the browser sends an HTTP request to the server to reflect this. The server receives this request, finishes the corresponding database related task, and sends back updated information related to the like of the user and the post. It does not transmit any other unnecessary information or resources. The browser receives this response and dynamically modifies the web page based on the information contained in it. In this process, you'll utilize the DOM that we covered in the last video. Using JavaScript to manipulate the DOM, it selects the corresponding button and activates the like mark. Users can confirm that only the color of the like button has changed without the flickering or stuttering refresh process. As you see, Ajax, which continuously brings in necessary information and updates the web page without the need to access the page anew, has already integrated itself into numerous services we use, making web surfing more convenient. The function of recommending search terms as soon as you type text into the search bar, filling up the screen with text and images corresponding to your location and scale as you drag and zoom in, zoom out on a map, continuously displaying new items as you scroll down, and so on. All these features would have been impossible without Ajax.
So, the X in Ajax stands for XML. Does that mean we use XML to send information?
When Ajax was conceived, JSON wasn't popular yet, and XML was widely used to express data. Nowadays, the more concise and readable JSON is most commonly used, and a variety of other formats can also be used in Ajax. X is just a remnant of the past. This time, let's take a look at this word, asynchronous. I'll cover this in a separate video later, but in programming, asynchronous refers to the ability for multiple tasks to proceed concurrently, and it means that the delay of one task does not interfere with or block other tasks. Synchronous tasks are like cars running on a single railway track. They can be bottlenecked by slow tasks, but asynchronous tasks are like driving on a multi-lane road, where all tasks are independent of each other. As the name suggests, Ajax happens asynchronously, which does not interfere with other tasks going on the web page. This is why there was no interruption in the video playback, no matter how many buttons you clicked on the web page you saw earlier, not only because the web page is not newly opened. Now let's learn how to implement this Ajax. Two common means are XMLHTTPRequest and the Fetch API. Both of these are part of the Web API. As mentioned in the DOM video, the Web API refers to functions that should be readily provided if the browser is properly equipped. Hence, both can be used without installing any separate libraries on the browser. In the past, XMLHTTPRequest and libraries that utilized it, like Axios, were commonly used. However, since the introduction of the Fetch API to the Web API, the more concise and convenient Fetch API has been gaining more popularity. Let's take a look at the code of the website we saw earlier. I have posted all the codes like this on the Notion page linked in the pinned comment. This way, a total of 4 files are used. In the case of this script.js file, there is a version using XMLHTTPRequest and a version using Fetch API. Firstly, let's take a look at the HTML document. The parts where each topic's title and description should appear are initially empty, and there are no classes attached to the tabs buttons to indicate what's selected. These are going to be dynamically filled by this JavaScript code. Let's first take a look at the XMLHTTPRequest version. This getContents function creates an instance of XMLHTTPRequest, then uses the open method to pull the contents of the JSON file at this address from the server. Each topic's data is contained in this file in the form of an array. In fact, in practice, it's typical to extract and send only the data on the selected specific topic from the server's database. But for the convenience of this practice, we are using this JSON file in this example. In the onReadyState change field of the XHLHTTPRequest instance, you write what to do when the response returns successfully like this. First, we pass the JSON formatted text received from the server and extract the data, then select elements using features of the DOM like this, add or remove the select class to display the selected tab, and fill in the title and content through the text content attribute. In the onError field, we insert a function to execute when there's a problem. Lastly, you send the request to the server using the send method. This function is executed like this with the code for each subject when the user clicks one of the tab's buttons and when the web page first opens. What we have here is a code using Fetch API. It executes just like the previous code. As you can see, Fetch API is designed to utilize JavaScript's promise. Therefore, we can write more concise and intuitive functional code like this using method chaining. For then method, we need to put the functions that will be executed using the received data, and for catch method, we need to input the function that will be executed in case of an error. While it may not be supported in old browsers, the Fetch API is increasingly being introduced in modern web services. If you wish to use more powerful features related to Ajax, external libraries like Axios would be a good choice as well. If you apply the Ajax we learned in this video appropriately, you can provide a pleasant user experience for those who use your web service. See you in the next video.